Hello, my name is Emmeline Meens Miller, and I'm a first-year master's student in kinesiology in the Faculty of Health Sciences. My research focuses on the effects of too much sitting. Does anyone here feel like they're spending a lot of time sitting these days? We're spending more time than ever before sitting at our desks, at our laptops, and in our homes. Data indicates that Canadians spend up to 40% of their day sedentary. Now, I've gone ahead and done a bit of math for you to put this into perspective. With the average Canadian spending 9.5 hours per day sitting, if you were to live to 80 years old, you would spend 31.68 years seated. That is a lot of sedentary time. These high volumes of sedentary time are associated with poor health outcomes, including increased risk of chronic disease, such as diabetes, cancer, and heart disease, as well as increased risk of obesity, weight gain, high blood pressure, and here's where I come in, chronic low-grade inflammation. Here's the thing, research shows a clear link between all of those diseases I mentioned, early death, and chronic low-grade inflammation. But if we move more, we can actually bring that low-grade inflammation down. The issue is, most of us aren't moving enough. So how much do you have to move in order to bring that low-grade inflammation down? That is exactly what I would like to answer. In my study, we have participants complete a baseline exercise test and provide a saliva sample that we use to test for inflammatory markers. They then complete 2 sessions in random order. One is a prolonged sitting session where they sit for 4 hours with no movement allowed. We literally wheel people to the bathroom. In the other session, it's an interrupted sitting session. So they sit for 4 hours, but every 30 minutes, we interrupt them with 3 minutes of moderate intensity walking. Saliva samples from the beginning and end of these sessions will be compared. The most novel aspect of my research is how we are collecting the samples using saliva rather than blood and what we are doing with them. Saliva is an easy to collect bodily fluid that tells us loads of information about our physiology. In this case, it can tell us how our bodies respond to sitting and to moving. We will be using microarray kits to test small volumes of saliva against dozens of different markers. With this, we hope to identify which markers have the greatest response to small volumes of movement. Now, how many of you are hoping that 3 minutes of walking every half hour will be enough to prevent you from developing tons of chronic illnesses? We hope so too, but you'll have to stay tuned for results. In the meantime, let's err on the side of caution and start moving just a little bit more. Thank you.